Hi everyone, welcome to another video on Maya. So this one I'm going to talk about sorry, caps lock mod. What am I talking about? Hi everyone, welcome to this video. I'm going to talk about the basics of 3D modeling in Maya in this one. So remember that you should definitely have watched the video on the Maya interface before this because I'm not going to go over it again in this video. I definitely recommend going back and watching that if you have not already. Another reminder from that video, before you're going to do anything modeling in Maya, make sure you're in the modeling standard workspace. So again, that's up here. I'm going to modeling standard. All right. So the first thing you're going to do when you start modeling in Maya, most times, at least in this class, is you're going to start with a primitive. This is a technique called box modeling where you start with a box. A lot of people do this sort of thing. So if you go up here, under poly modeling on the shelf, you can see all these primitives. So you can make a cube, right? That's a cube. That's not a, oh my god. That's a sphere. You can make a sphere. You can also make a cube. That's a cube. All right, cool. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and before we get into like the more technical stuff, I think it's good to start with a conceptual base. So let me switch my tab really quick here. So what is a cube, really? What is anything in Maya? Okay, so when you open Maya, you don't have anything, right? It's just a blank viewport. But when you create something, that something is created made of vertices. Yes. So this is a vertex, right? In the beginning, there was nothing. Then there was a vertex. Okay. But when you connect two vertices, that creates an edge. Okay. So y'all know geometry, right? So two vertices creates an edge. And then if you add another vertice and you connect all three of them, that space in between is a face. Okay, so those are the three main things you're going to be working with in Maya. You're going to be moving the vertices, or doing things with edges or faces, right? Okay, if you add more faces, obviously, so this cube, right? This thing's made of 6 faces, right? We can see that's a face, that's a face, that's a face, right? Those are vertices, those are edges. All right, that whole thing, so the whole object made of all the faces is called an object, right? Cool. So these are all the different components of an object in Maya. Faces have a number of vertices or a number of edges. It's the same, right? So this is called a tri. This has 3 vertices, 1, 2, 3, and 3 edges, right? So it has triangle, right? And this is a quad. A quad has 4 vertices. I see one of them has disappeared somehow, but there should be one there, and 4 edges. Okay, these are the 2 desirable face sizes that you want in Maya. When you put things into a game engine, things are always going to be automatically turned into tris. So a quad, if you have it, is going to be cut diagonally and turned into tris anyway. But quads are the best. Quads are, when you're modeling, that's the best thing you can have because they make really clean edge loops. Basically, just like your geometry can be very even and square. Imagine something made of triangles versus something made of squares. The squares are more grid-like. They're a lot easier to work with. Cool. So those are tris. That's a quad. What you don't want, again, tris are fine. They're just become a little harder to work with sometimes. What you don't want is an n-gon. An n-gon is anything higher than 4 sides or vertices. N, right? So this is this pentagon is 5-sided, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is higher than 4. And this one is hard for the renderer to divide into triangles. It doesn't quite know what to do, and it's really hard to work with when you get with this sort of thing. So it's bad for it's bad throughout the flow. You should avoid n-gons at all cost. So if you wind up with a more complex shape, something like this heart, right? It's cute, but it does have 6 sides, which is not great, right? Let me count that. That is 6 sides. What you can do, and what you're going to want to do when you create n-gons, and n-gons, some of the tools in Maya just wind up making n-gons and it's just part of the flow of the process. You're going to have to go back and fix your n-gons. How you might fix this one, for example, if you add another edge right here connecting these two vertices, instead of having one 6-sided face, we wind up with two 4-sided faces, right? Quad, quad. Good stuff. Cool. All right, so I'm going to talk about how this connects in Maya. How does that actually work? So if we go into Maya, we can see this cube right here. Right now we're in what's called object mode. That's the default. So the selection tool allows you to select by object. So if I move things right now, right, if I press W to go to the movement tool, I'm moving the entire object. But if I hold right-click on my mouse while hovering over an object, I can see a bunch of different options. I can select, oh, well, not that one. If I select vertex in the right-click menu, so again, hold right to click vertex, now I can move the vertices, select and move the vertices independently. Okay? Same thing with edges here, right? So I can move this whole edge. Look at that. Or I can do things with the faces. So I can move this face upwards, right? So I wind up with this weird avant-garde type thing. Okay, multi allows you to select any of those things contextually. I don't really use this. I think it's pretty hard to use effectively. But the other thing you might want to think about is vertex face, which does this thing where it kind of explodes your model. And you can see all the faces independently. This is sometimes useful for debugging purposes because a lot of the time you might wind up with like faces, weird faces inside your mesh, and this allows you to see those and delete them and that sort of thing. So that's good stuff there. So I'm going to go back in object mode. I can select the object, move this whole thing again. I forgot to talk about this in the last video, so I'm just going to talk about a couple of the interface options as well. So if we look at the grid here, this thing's the grid, right? So that's like the ground plane. When you put your stuff into another program, this is like the coordinates you want stuff to be on. You want them to be sitting on the ground plane. But sometimes that's annoying and in the way. So you can turn it off by pressing this button here that looks like a grid. Okay, so that's useful sometimes. This thing here, if you press the 4 key, you can go into wireframe mode. And what that does is show you without the faces filled in. So you can see through your model. Again, this is a useful debugging tool. Other times you might want to see the geometry. So the shortcut for that is the number 4, but you can also just click this wireframe button here. The other thing I want to talk about is wireframe on shaded. So yeah, so by default we're on. So there's wireframe, there's shaded, so that's the default. We see like the faces filled in, and there's also wireframe on shaded, which when you've deselected things, you can see it's shaded, but we can also see the wireframe. That's useful if you want to see the geometry, but also have that sort of faded type look. That's useful stuff. There's also another couple options. There's ambient occlusion. This is stuff that I personally am not going to use on my machine because I'm currently on like a laptop that's not super powerful. But if you do have a pretty nice computer, this can make your stuff look a little nicer. I'm going to show you what those look like. So if I create 2 cubes, so I'm just setting this up. Boop. All right, cool. So one of the options right here on this toolbar here, where is it, is ambient occlusion. So if we look at this, I just turned that on, and what that does is starts to add ambient shadows. So those fill in the spaces between objects where like shadows might collect in real life. So we can see right here, look at that gap. If I turn it off, there's nothing there, but this like adds a shadow there, adds a little dimensionality there. It looks good. It does tax your computer a little bit more. Another option is anti-aliasing, which is right next to multi-sample anti-aliasing. This is a little harder to see, especially probably in the resolution of the video I'm giving you. But when you turn this on, this edge right here is all pixelated. If you turn it on, it smooths that out. Again, taxing for your computer. It does make like your thing look a little nicer while you're working on it. If your computer can handle it, it could be fun for you, but not necessary by any means. All right, cool. So I'm just going to go ahead and pause this video. Move on to the next video on actually modeling stuff. So cool. Thanks, everyone.